Yes, as always, hi, welcome. Shey here from the Gencon Podcast. I'm joined by Tyler.
And I finally made it on the cast.
I know, and in video.
It's
very weird because I'm used to audio where I can just kind of look off when I'm talking, but now I have to care about the camera. But yeah, we have you on. We had a few questions. Just a quick interview here at Gencon. I guess we'll get to firing here. So, first of all, how are you doing?
Great. We came in yesterday and I got like 2 hours of sleep before I got on the plane. Right? So classic Gencon experience.
Like a 14-hour drive.
You got it. And then I had to wait for like 4 hours to get my room. But it's so exciting to be here.
There's like an energy. Like it's Gencon.
It's Gencon.
And it's like last one I came to was 2021, so it was like a smaller Gencon, and it's the proper Gencon experience this year.
This one's sold out.
I know.
They got signs out front on the sidewalk saying "sold out, don't come to Gencon."
Yeah, it's like no walk-in. So I was like, oh man. So yeah, it's been great.
So far we've done the in-flight report, and that's mostly it. I've been running around with the event organizers, making sure everything's going smoothly, but mostly the in-flight report. That was the exciting thing that's happened so far, and then we got more stuff going on later this weekend.
The in-flight report, you guys, my heart is warmed.
I have been waiting for this for so long. I can finally talk about at least the existence of some of this stuff.
Oh, I know. I was excited, and also Grievous gave him Sentinel, man. Chewbacca's my boy, and I'm like, I can finally
do it again.
I can play some of the villainous cards now. I'm like, ooh.
It was Jim described him on the live stream of Grievous is going to give Sentinel to your droids so they die instead of him, and that is exactly the design goal.
The flavor is just chef's kiss. So I guess so long-time listeners of the cast, they'll know your time as the L5R, because Jay Throne, we used to be an L5R podcast.
You even kept the branding.
I did, yeah. So how's the transition been from L5R to Unlimited? Just kind of.
It was so for me it was particularly nice. Let's say because I got to transition from the game line that I inherited to a game line that I was helping.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, there was a brief interstitial time where I wasn't working on L5R anymore.
Yeah.
I worked on Keyforge for 6 months or something while Danny and Jim got the foundations under Unlimited. And then Jeremy and I got brought in to help design the first set, design the individual cards, and take the game going forward. But because we were able to be there building the initial foundation blocks for set one and the game line as a whole, it was very empowering. I didn't have to. If I felt like the game needed something, I had the ability to just do it. I didn't have to try to work around things that someone else had already made before I got here.
It's got it has to be it's the cascading Rube Goldberg machine. It's no, I get to be from the ground up. I get to build it.
Which is very funny because now that we work multiple years in advance, there are some things where I'm actively reacting to things that we already made ourselves in the past, and I'm like, well, really that past card was a little bit too good. So does that mean we can't make this card or what?
I will say, man, set one and set two, it's been so diverse. My local scene, it's been there's so many different flavors. It's
I'm extremely proud of the development we did on set one, especially. We really knew that we needed to hit the ground with the strongest foot forward. Something that we were sort of heuristic that we were taking from the very beginning, that came from the top down. Was take your time and do it right. It's fine that this game is not going to launch until 2024. We need to make sure that when we do it, we do the best possible thing that we can for this first set. And so we've developed the heck out of this set, and I'm extremely happy that it turned out as well as I thought it was, or as well as I hoped it would.
Back to the escape room design days. I feel you. It's like you have time. You can cook on this. Okay, goodness. So you've been very transparent online, explaining the thought process, kind of the philosophies behind different card design and mechanics, and is and everything. What's your favorite topic whenever you're kind of waxing philosophical about the cards?
My favorite is to tell stories about the design of the cards.
Oh yeah,
because that's the thing that I have a really, really close relationship with, and B, that's the thing that I can give the audience that nobody else can.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what's the design process look like? How do we think about designing cards? What trajectories did individual cards take during the process? Right. Sometimes I'll talk about power level, which is not my strength. Sometimes I'll talk about art and theme, which is technically one of my primary duties. But there's less to talk about because theoretically, if I've done my job right, it's very self-apparent.
But people don't sometimes making something that is flavorful. It's like there's a lot of like fine tuning and dials to that. So
yeah, it's extremely challenging, particularly because everyone's relationship with Star Wars is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So if I design a thing that I say, oh, this is a top-down theme first, we're hitting all the theme notes on this card, and you who has a different relationship with Star Wars might say, well, no, actually this doesn't feel like the thing, right? And so there's a little bit of that, and there's a little bit of, this is a game, and we need to make sure the game is balanced. And sometimes when we need to make the game balanced, that means we change a card in a way that makes it less thematic to whatever we assign it. And there's only so much art we have, and our ability to commission new art late in the stage is pretty limited. So
but the flavor wins have been just through the roof with the game. Like a guy from the Cantina wanted in 12 systems. That was when that got previewed. Like I packed it a little bit because that was like I'm like, all right, that's pretty great.
When that was always there. Like from the beginning, it was bounty, ready 12 resources. That's where we're starting. The shield came on later when we were like, should he have more stats or should he have a shield? Okay, we're supposed to do. But for that card especially, people were so expecting Ponda Baba and Dr. Nebazan to come together as a unit, as a set. And we're like, well, there isn't room for Ponda Baba, but we can't not do the 12 systems joke. The 12 systems joke is too good, so we'll just do him by himself.
Oh yeah, no. It's I draft him occasionally. Every time like that.
He's one of my favorite cards in the set, actually, because I like early aggressive.
Oh yeah. No, he's great to the point.
Oh my god, he is.
So I guess moving on. So it's the Star Wars Unlimited experience. Since we kind of talked on that, it's been a blast. You speak a bit to the design on like limited experience and getting like the design for like limited pack.
For draft.
As
a side note, it was extremely funny when we confirmed that the game was going to be called Star Wars Unlimited, and they were like, "Well, what do we talk about draft with?" That was always a core pillar of the game. There was no world in which we were going to make Star Wars Unlimited that wasn't going to be a draft-friendly, draft-focused game. Because for those of us on the design team, we love to draft games.
Best kitchen table format.
Right?
Getting some friends and like cracking some packs.
And it, in addition to just being a thing that we like, it actually serves several strategic goals. It gives people a reason to buy more packs when they already have a full collection. B, it lets the opening of a pack also be part of the game in a way that isn't just about collecting collectibles. It really to me justifies why this game is a trading card game as opposed to a living card game. Which, of course, there are other reasons. But if you're going to make a game with randomized packs, like make use of every opportunity you get, and draft and seal are one of those opportunities.
Exactly. It also like I appreciate draft so much because there are like the poor common card often overlooked. Draft lets you you
do that.
Yeah, you get your little buddies, your little potatoes. They get their time to shine, and I love it.
There's a card that just got previewed in the in-flight report. It's a 2-cost 3/2. If you have 3 units, it has ambush. And that's exactly you would never put this in a normal deck because there are just better options because it's a single color, non-unique, so it's not going to be strong. But in draft, let me tell you, having a good statted vanilla that can go in any of your green decks, that also can be an ambush, very good.
I love because I like my little overlooked friends, and it's been so fun because I normally can't make it through that, but whenever I draft, I get to throw the little quad jumper in.
Quad jumper gets to have his moment.
I get to have my little tugboat there, and I get to every time I attack with it, go doot doot. Oh.
And as someone whose primary priorities and role on the team is to be sort of creative lead, I am in charge of most of the names in our flavor, not flavor text, but subtypes.
Yeah.
It means I am more emotionally invested in every card.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because this isn't just some overlooked common. This is this specific thing from the video game that I wanted it to be in the game, and so then I put it. And Rokai Gunship is a perfect example of this.
Okay. Just want to say that card, Chef's Kiss, in draft, in sealed, hero.
Does so much work for you in draft. Not super playable in constructed normally, in Premiere normally.
Yeah.
But also, I was like, what'd be cool is if we took that spaceship that was in 100 seconds of one Bad Batch episode, and we only saw them zipping through space. But what if we put that on a card?
Oh yeah,
right? And
no,
so
it's that every frame is someone's favorite thing,
exactly.
And it's cool that there's at least some format.
And yes, exactly. And there's at least a format where your favorite thing, if it isn't good enough in Premiere, it is good enough in Premiere.
Yeah. And I guess speaking of other formats, you guys do have Twin Sons, which is kind of a multiplayer format, which I appreciate you guys having a multiplayer format out of the gate. It makes it much easier for some of my friends that the kind of standard constructed deck isn't their jam. They kind of like the table politics. And the table politics of Twin Sons has been,
Yeah. Twin Sons, so we always knew we were going to have a multiplayer format.
Oh, yeah.
It's too, Commander is too popular in that game to not, to just ignore.
Yeah.
And also it gives, like you said, it gives an audience who otherwise wouldn't want to engage with the Premiere format a way to play the game. That said, it ended up as a format that is wildly different than I personally expected it to. When we started, the only thing that I really contributed was I was very, very adamant that we not have player elimination.
Yeah.
That when the first player is eliminated, that's when the game ends. At the end of the round.
Let me tell you, that leads to some of the most just juicy shit. No, don't hit me, don't hit me.
If you hit me, they're gonna win. Yeah. And that was part of it. Not to mention just the fact that we wanted games to not go on forever.
Yeah.
But then everything after that was the other designs.
Yeah.
They tried so many different possible versions of what a multiplayer game could be. And personally, if it was just me, I would have just been like, you take your Premiere deck and you can play multiplayer and here's the basic foundations for how multiplayer works. And they were like, no, that's not good enough. We can do better. And they did. Boy, they really made it into something special.
It's just some of the zaniest games I've had in recent years has been just getting some of my buddies who don't necessarily play the game all the time. It's like, hey, we're totally down to play some of the Twin Sons. It's a ton of fun. And just the politicking, the just crazy combos and everything. An ISP agent that got up to 8/8 because no one dealt with it. Yeah, just no one dealt with it. And it got to the point I'm not going to attack it.
You do it.
Yeah. It's just
I don't want to do it. You do it.
We like to say Tarkin gave up a bunch of pizza parties. So yeah. So I've really appreciated the Wookiee archetype here in Shadows of the Galaxy. It's been something that really is, it's been fun to draft it. But it's also very locked down into the rare and lower kind of slots. So it's something that a new player I've noticed they've been picking up these more common type kind of archetypes of cards, like the Wookiees, the Rebel, the Leia level, or Leia Rebel deck from set 1. Is that a consideration you guys have? These more having semi-complete archetypes here in the lower rarities, where it's not necessarily the keystone legendaries and stuff.
Yeah. These sort of typal strategies of we pick a trait and we just jam them all together. Those are really popular among casual players.
Oh yeah.
And especially in Star Wars, which is pretty heavily factioned.
Yeah.
Right. You see the miniatures in board games make it even harder to do that.
Oh yeah.
So it was never something we weren't going to do. However, it can be really counter to what the idea of what draft is about, right? Because draft is all about I'm going to take my pieces that I want and then I'm going to put them together in new configurations every time.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes draft fun. It's the new configurations every time. Well, if every time you build a rebel deck, it always has the same set of rebels because those are the best rebels and they're the ones that care about the other rebels, it takes away some of the excitement of getting to draft your picks. That said, since it is so popular, if done effectively, it can be extremely rewarding for the more casual players who do want a more prescribed experience. For instance, that is explicitly why we had you draft leaders when you at the draft, is so that you know going in, these are the things I should be looking for. And then, but with regards to, but what that means is when you're doing these type of things in a set, you just have to be particular about which ones you do and how many things of that type are in the set, right? The reason we did Rebels and Imperials in set 1 is because we knew we were going to have enough Rebels and Imperials that you could actually draft a Rebel Imperial deck. We knew going in that you were not going to be able to draft a Wookiee deck.
Yeah.
Frankly, you can barely build a premier Wookiee deck so far. That said, we did go out of our way to make sure some of our, the 2 cost 3/3 with a bounty, yellow, future Wookiee. Yeah. That could have been literally anything, but we were like, it could be anything, but if it's a Wookiee, then the Wookiee things get to have a new toy that you can play with, right? And so there it was more about just like, okay, we'll do like 2 signpost cards. They'll mostly be at rare, and the one at common is almost as much just to play lots of these with each other than I need my whole deck to be Wookiees. So that the casual players can take them, and the people who want to like opt in during draft. Okay, I took my first Wookiee Warrior. That makes every future Wookiee Warrior better. Yeah. And even if Wookiee Warrior is the only Wookiee I see, well, if I get 4 of them, that's good enough. Yeah. Right?
Card draw's always fun.
Exactly.
I also appreciate them all having a lot of grit, because that's another one of my favorite keywords in this game. So.
Well, and it was so thematic. It was like almost immediately we were like, oh, what should a Wookiee do? Well, it should be not threatening in the beginning and threatening at the end. Oh, yeah. So grit is exactly that. And then we designed the Han Leader to go with them. Oh yeah. And it all came together. Han Upsal
Grit is been one of my casual night decks, and
I believe that.
Yeah. It's been a blast. And so I guess last question here. So in Constructed, what's your current deck you're vibing with?
Give me that teal box. We're at Gencon, so I can actually show you.
Oh.
So this is my deck box. It's going to have 4 decks in it at any given time. I was showing it off on social media, but I'm a Grand Inquisitor main basically until the end, and specifically Yellow Grand Inquisitor. As long as he's legal in Premier, I will have a Grand Inquisitor yellow deck. He picked up some fun new toys with Forlom and Dr. Evazan especially. Dr. Evazan and Grand Inquisitor are the bestest of friends. Before this interview, I was starting a game with a guy, and I went turn 1 Evazan, and he went turn 1 Sabine, and I said, ready Evazan, defeat Sabine. Evazan has 2 damage on him. Next turn, you're going to play a unit, and I'm going to play McClunky, and we're going to do this all again. But this is definitely a oops all aggro deck.
Oh yeah.
It gets to do the sneak attack clan challengers thing. I sneak in my clan challengers, I hit you for 6, I use the Grand Inquisitor, I ready, I hit you for 6. Mate, if we're on 6 resources, I deploy the Grand Inquisitor, I attack, I ready, I hit you for 6, and then I don't care that he dies.
I had the pleasure of getting a Darksaber and 3 clan challengers in a sealed pool.
In a sealed pool?
And I was like, I'm the problem, it's me, I'm sorry. Sweep for 10.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
With Overwhelm.
Oh yeah, with Overwhelm. My opponent was like, well, okay, GG. But awesome. Well, thanks for joining us for the interview here, Tyler. It's been a blast talking to you. And
I finally get to be back on the podcast.
I know. I've been trying to get the logo redesigned, And I was like, I'll ask Tyler on when we get the logo redesign. And I've been run through the hoops trying to do that. So, well, awesome. And then Jake, you can hit the button.